You've probably heard somewhere that it's bad to bluff with the missed flush draw. The idea is that when we have hearts in our hand, we make it impossible for villain to hold certain combos of 2 heart hands himself. And since these hands make up a big part of his folding range, he actually ends up calling more often when we bet. Not ideal when we have a hand that is trying to make villain fold. But consider this, if we never bluff with the missed flush draw, then villain should start preferring to call with hands that do have a heart in them. Hands like top pair, even middle pair with a heart kicker would start becoming high EV calls because the paired card blocks value and neither card blocks any bluffs. For example, when villain holds a hand like ace of hearts jack, the jack blocks many of our value bets like pocket jacks and queen jack. On top of that, the ace of hearts is also a clean card to have in the sense that it doesn't interfere with any of our bluffs. The combined effect is to weight our betting range less towards value and more towards bluffs, ultimately increasing the EV of villain's call. But if villain is always calling hands like queen x and jack x with a heart, shouldn't that make us more inclined to bluff with the missed flush draw instead? We now block a bunch of hands that are always calling, which should increase the EV of our bluff. How do we resolve this apparent paradox? Well, it turns out that villain calling with 1 heart hands doesn't necessarily make us want to bluff our missed flush draws, provided villain has lots of missed flush draws himself. From our perspective, it's about the relative proportion of these hands in his range. If villain has more 1 heart bluff catches than missed flush draws, then bluffing with hearts is good. If not, then bluffing with hearts is bad. In this sim, the out of position defender is facing a turn overbet, which means that most flush draws are not profitable to defend. As the big blind, he also has lots of offsuit 1 pair, like ace-10 with the 10 of hearts, that will call the turn and potentially call river. Because of this, we see that in position doesn't mind barreling down with the occasional missed flush draw. He blocks potential calls in the form of 1 heart bluff catches, and not that many folds since out of position doesn't have much missed hearts himself. In this other sim, the defender is now in position. He is facing a much smaller turn bet, which means that he gets to call all his flush draws profitably. As the early position opener, he also doesn't have that many offsuit combos, especially after calling a 3-bet from the small blind. As a result, small blind never bluffs with hearts on the river because they block a ton of missed flush draws and not that many 1 heart bluff catches.